Good evening.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor, members of the council, I'm Michael Reed. I reside at 1615 Lucre Drive in Casper. And fortunately, we do have covenants in my neighborhood, and we have a very active
sit down and shut up then.
So we are covenanted against chickens. So I'm not going to have the problem. But what I'm here to ask you about is, you start out in your ordinance and you say, whereas the keeping of chicken hens within the city limits, if properly regulated, will not harm or have a detrimental effect on neighboring properties. And then you go into the structures that you're going to have, the daylight hours, when they can be in, when they can be out. The coops will be changed. The pens will be constructed of a minimum 6 feet and away and all of this. My question is, who's going to check all that? Do you have somebody that's going to actually do that? Or are you just going to write this down and hope to heck that everybody pays attention? That's my question.
Your Honor, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Nobody's going to go check. Unless if somebody complains, I agree with you.
And that's the concern. That's my real concern. Have any of you ever had a dog problem at your house? How long did it take to get taken care of?
Quite a while.
Okay. We had one in our neighborhood. It took 1 year and 3 months by the time it worked through Metro and it worked through the courts. And I can tell you that there are 5 neighbors that don't speak to each other anymore, simply because 2 of them wouldn't take care of their dogs. It's not the chickens that are the problem. It's not the dogs that are the problems. It's the owners. And if they don't take care of the problem, then you do have problems for everybody else. So that's my question, is how are you going to take care of this? I read today in the paper, I thought it was really kind of fun. Go to page 2 of the paper, and there's an ad in the paper reminding everybody to scoop the poop. So are you going to put an ad in the paper to clean the coop? You know, if you have a dog problem and it goes on and on and on, you keep a dog log for 3 weeks, sometimes a month. Are you going to keep a chicken clucking log? Are you going to keep a stink log? I mean, seriously, I ask these questions because I'm not saying that these people aren't good people and they're not going to do a good job. But we all know that we put those scoopers out there for some reasons, because some people don't take care of things. And some people do cause their neighbors problems. So I'm just asking how you're going to take care of that before you pass this.
Commissioner.
I'm assuming, and somebody correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that code enforcement, Shelley LeClaire, and her little trucks are going to be driving out there and enforce these ordinances like all the others. And I know because Shelley LeClaire has already called me twice about the height of my weeds. So I think she's pretty vigilant.
She is. Trust me, I know. Do you have enough code enforcement officers? I think you've got 3, maybe 4. And they've got a big job. So are they going to check to make sure that the coops are built right? Are they going to check to make sure that everything is vermin-proof? That's all I'm asking you.
Madison, could you talk a little bit about how Metro handles complaints and citizens can file complaints?
Thank you.
Process that we go through when we have a complaint.
Thank you, Mayor. The Community Development Department houses both Metro and code enforcement, and typically, like with every ordinance, every law that we have, whether it's the police department, I mean, think about this for a moment, whether it's the police department, code enforcement, building inspection, or Metro, it really is on a complaint basis that we enforce almost all. If folks are in compliance, if there isn't an issue in the neighborhood, then we don't make it an issue. We don't have the luxury to do proactive patrol when it comes to police. That was the argument and discussion with the budget this year and the need for additional police officers. And certainly code enforcement officers in Metro, we don't have an abundance of them. And so it is on a complaint basis. And but frankly, that's not unlike every other city I've managed. I mean, that's just how it works. You go where, the squeaky wheel is, or where there's need of enforcement.
So you're telling me that nobody's going to check to make sure that the coops are built right?
Correct.
So why have it in the ordinance? That's my question. If this ordinance, if you're going to write it down on paper, just like you do building codes or anything else, and you enforce them, why aren't you doing that here? If you're going to have it in there, if you're not going to have it in there, who cares? If this is just a feel-good ordinance, that's my question. You turn neighbor against neighbor. That's the problem.
The purpose of the language, of course, Mr. Reed, is to give people very clear guidelines as to what the city expects. And so compliance will always be less than 100%. You and I know that, with any ordinance.
Right. And that's the problem.
Well,
I'll be glad to answer any questions.
did you have something you wanted to add to?
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Reed? Anyone else here to speak in opposition?